Trey, how are you this morning?
Fantastic, Kevin. Great to be here, brother. How are you?
I couldn't be better. Every day that we're being productive in life and helping people and talking to people and trying to make a difference, that we're doing okay.
Amen, brother. Glad to hear it, man. I'm glad to hear you're doing all right.
I want to take a quick second to reintroduce our future audience to country singer, songwriter Trey Calloway. Trey and I spoke about a year ago, almost to the day. It was like in July of last year. We spoke about a
Sir?
year ago,
Yes, sir.
and he's one of the hardest working people in the business that I've ever talked to. I can't wait to talk to him about all the great projects he's got going on between now and the end of the year. And he's been so involved in so many different things, even since our last conversation only a year ago. So welcome back to KJ Music, Trey.
Man, I appreciate you having me. It's great to be back. We were just talking off the camera about an album I told you to check out, and it's still on your mind. So, man, that's
Yes,
awesome, dude. It'll change your life, bro. Talking about the
I can't
Ballad
wait
of
to do it.
Juanita.
I almost started it
Great
this
record.
week, and I thought I gotta just listen to it straight through. I can't just do three songs. I gotta
You
listen
do.
straight through the concept album. So I gotta do that. So
You need at least an hour, hour and a half to like listen to the whole thing. Just do it while you're on a road trip. That's the best. That's the best way I listen to albums is on road trips.
I can't wait to do that.
Yes, sir.
So you put a new album out in May, just a couple months ago now, called Truck Around,
Yes,
and
sir.
the album's already several singles deep because you're always pre-promoting singles in advance.
Yes,
And
sir.
in our world, we really the single has become so important again. So sometimes it's not just one single and then the album. Sometimes maybe three or four singles have been out before that album hits.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of our game plan. When I first started this thing, I moved to Nashville. We said, we're an independent artist. We're not, we don't have, inexhaustible funds. We have to be smart with our business decisions as well. So I think we should try to get as much out of we can of every song. So my whole game plan going into any album I've made since I moved to Nashville was I want every song on this record to be able to stand alone as a single. Even if it's not quote unquote what you think is your typical, like, did I just write the song of the summer? That guy, we all know that guy.
Right, right.
But I every song I put out is standalone, can stand on its own, and I think that has had a big impact on my music career gaining some traction is because we just keep releasing song after song after song every 4 to 6 weeks. It's like as soon as you get used to the last one, wait, here's another one, but wait, there's more. And so it's
Yeah.
it's been really fun. It has been a grueling process. I could, work a single for 6 to 8 months and just really just but for me it's like I want to be able to play and have a whole show of original music, which I'm thankful that we do now. um, we can go to a club and we can play an entire set of original music now, and that was kind of the game plan. That was kind of the point. So, and with the EP that's coming sometime, later this year or next year, um, we we might change it up. I don't know yet, but we're gonna see how the things fall into place. So hopefully they will. But if not, I'll just keep on keeping on the way I've been doing, man. And as long as I got awesome dudes like you to talk to that care and they want to interview me, like I said before, like I told you before, I'll keep on making music, man.
Well, we appreciate that as music listeners and music fans. We appreciate that you're making lots of music. And when you mentioned the whole idea of having all original tunes to play, not only that, but all original tunes that your fans that come out to see you will know because you've been releasing it. It'll be like a greatest hits show because you've been releasing them. They'll know every song because you've been, going through it. And that's really rewarding to look out in the audience, I'm sure, and see people singing the lyrics to the songs that you wrote.
That's been honestly, man, over the past couple of years, that's been the biggest wow thing for me was people starting to come to shows and request my songs. That's been the greatest joy. One of the greatest joys of my music career thus far has been to see those people come to the show and go, I want to hear Horses in Heaven, or I want to hear Truck Around, or I want to hear Ballad of Righteous and Wrong. I mean, it's even gotten to the point where people request songs, and this actually happened. I've been to several big concerts, big artists, and they said, they'll get requested songs on stage and not remember the lyrics because they put out so many songs.
Right, right.
It's even come to that point where I have to go, how do I play that song? And it's a song I wrote, and I'm like, how do I
Sure.
play the song again? So it's been a really good thing to watch. People really start to come to the shows for it to be a Trey Calloway show, not a Trey Calloway sings Toby Keith songs. That's been a big joy, and not that I don't love singing Toby Keith. I love singing Toby Keith songs, and we'll do it anytime anybody asks. But but
Yeah.
it's that's the whole point. We come to Nashville to get our songs out there and make the music we love, and I've been fortunate enough to get to do that.
Well, it's definitely a something, a goal of, like you said, of every songwriter to get their songs out there. And it's neat though that like when you're with these and when you tour with some of these artists like that and you hear about what they go through, like these singles and stuff. I know that and people love that spontaneity because if it was just all phoned in, like you knew every word and everything and then you turn to the left, play the guitar, turn to the right, the people who come to see you many times know that you're spontaneous and you're not afraid to try different parts of genres and different types of songs. That's your goal is to always, from when I remember the last time we talked, expand the boundaries so there are none.
Well, I drive my team nuts because I will have a set list written out, ready to go. And about halfway through the show, I'll just pick out somebody in the crowd and go, "What do you want to hear?" And it always spirals after that because as soon as you take one request, you're
Oh,
taking a
I'm
whole
sure.
bunch of them, and which is good, man. I mean, I think we've talked about it before, Kevin. I'm first and foremost an entertainer. I love writing songs and I love, but I'm first and foremost in this business to make people happy. It makes me happy. It brings me joy when I make people happy, and that's a huge part of the reason why I do it. So for me, a show isn't some monument to self glorification. Like, hey,
Hmm.
we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about me for 2 hours. I hate that. I want a show to be this incorporated thing where the crowd and the artists are just kind of hanging out and there, and listening to good music. So that's my whole plan. And it's really it blow when you get to a certain level of the music business, it blows people's mind. It's almost like they're like, "You're gonna do what?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm here to give these people a show." So that's it's been good for my career. I think people have responded well to that. And nobody goes away from my show going, he didn't play any of his own songs.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I do play a lot of my own songs. I found a way to marry the two and incorporate that original music and that artistry into just the name of the game, which is I'm an entertainer. I'm a country music singer, and it really resonates well with people. So as long as they keep showing up, man, I'll keep playing like I told you.
That's so awesome. It's just so awesome.
Thanks, brother.
Um, this is always hard to do when I ask songwriters this question because every song becomes like a child to them, a baby, But is there a favorite song of yours on that album on
On
Truck
Truck
Around?
Around,
Yeah.
uh, hmm, that's a hard question. I would say I love them. I talk about them like I would talk about my own children. I would say that I love them all equally. That's the political answer. But I have to say that the crowd response to Truck Around has been the best. So we'll go with that. I think the crowd response to Truck Around has been the best. I remember the first time we played Truck Around live, it had just dropped, I think, like a week before. And we went and played a show in Myrtle Beach, which is kind of my home base. I lived in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and played that music scene there for about 5 years before I moved to Nashville.
Right.
And so I have a big strong fan base there, and every time I play a show there, a lot of people show up, and it's a great time. A bunch of my friends live there, so the song was out for a week, and we put it in the set list. We played it once, and the crowd loved it. And then the longer the night went on, and the drunker everybody got, they started requesting it again, and we ended up playing it 3 times. And by the third time, I was like,
Wow.
I was like, by the third time, I was, because I'm not above a little self-deprecation. I said, "You guys really want to hear this silly truck song again?" I mean, I realize the irony that I'm a country singer and that I have a song called "Truck Around." It's not lost on me that I have a song called "Truck Around." And I said, "Y'all really want to hear this song, Truck Around, the silly truck song?" And they said, "Yeah, play Truck Around." So we played it 3 times, and the crowd never lost any momentum with it. I mean, it was just packed. I mean, it was one of the most packed, most live energy shows I've ever done. So I would say the crowd response to Truck Around has been the best. But there's She Misses Being Mrs., which is the emotional side of the album,
I love that
about a
song
war
name.
widow.
I love
Thank you,
She
sir.
Misses Being Mrs. I love that play on words in the title and then throughout the song, what that means.
Well, I can't take credit for the title. That title was brought to me by a friend of mine named Aaron Loy, who I wrote the song with, and he was on a flight with an old man. We found the guy. We looked for him for a long time, but we found him finally. He lives in Florida, and they were on a flight together. And they were talking. And the man was like, "I always wanted to be a songwriter, but I never got the chance. Life and work and business got in the way
Sure.
always." And so he said, "But I have this title, She Misses Being Mrs." He said, "I don't know what you will do with it. Do whatever you want with it." And so he brought it with us, and it made me instantly think about a woman whose husband is a soldier and doesn't come home,
Right.
and she misses being his wife so much, and that's what the song is about. And that song really really struck a chord on TikTok, especially. And it was one of my highest viewed videos when we were promoting that song. So that's the emotional side of the album, but I also love "She Don't Break It." It was the first song I wrote with Terry McBride for McBride and the Ride. Terry is always the coolest guy in the room. It doesn't matter who is in the room. Terry is always the coolest guy in there. Just a super nice guy and so talented, just super talented. And he and I've had the pleasure of writing. I've had the pleasure of writing a couple of songs with Terry now, and they will probably all be recorded someday. It just man, Hank U. I have to talk about Hank U too. Hank U for me has a magic to it. And I love telling people this story, and I don't mean to ramble on, Kevin. If you
No,
have
no,
other
please.
questions, but I will talk about this one more thing, and then I'll let you continue. But there's a song on there called Hank U. And I didn't go to college. I'm very open about it. I didn't go to college. I barely graduated high school. I wanted to be anywhere else back then. I had gotten so heavy into music and I have a very obsessive personality. When I find something that I'm really passionate about, I just throw myself into it. And I had done that with music so much that I had neglected my schoolwork. So
Yeah.
I barely graduated high school. I knew I didn't want to go to college because I didn't want to have all that debt. I wasn't raised in a wealthy family. I knew that college was going to end up being this thing that was hanging over my head that I was going to pay back for the rest of my life. So I made a decision back then, and it was a tough decision, but I'm glad I made it. I didn't go to college, so I always used to joke around and tell everybody that I went to Hank University, that I went to Hank U, and 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 I never really thought about it until one day I threw it out. I said that to Kirsten Manna and Bill DiLuigi, who I wrote that song with, and they were like, "That's great. We should write a song called Hank U." And so we did, and the record for Hank U was literally cut, and this never happens. It was cut in one take. Hank U was
Wow.
one take in the studio. And I almost feel like with our digital recording world that we live in now, that is almost unheard of.
Yeah.
But Gordon Moat, the piano player on there, and Gordon's played on everything. I mean, I could sit here all day and name you his credits, but Gordon is just he is one of the finest musicians I've ever had the pleasure of being around and meeting. Such a wonderful, talented guy. And we played the song, and I remember we're halfway through the song, and I'm like, we are freaking jamming right now, dude. We are jamming this song right now. And I'd never experienced that before. I'd had great takes and stuff before, but that just magic. We captured it on that
Right.
first take. And Gordon, after we finished cutting, he looked well. He leaned over and he said, "I don't think I can play it any better than that, Trey." And I
That's
said, "I don't
awesome.
think I can sing it any better than that." And of course, we did a comp. We went on to do a comp vocally, just to get everything perfect. But the music is all one take, and
Wow.
it was crazy, man. So I'm
It
super
doesn't
proud of
happen.
you.
It doesn't happen very often,
Yeah.
like you said.
Yeah, and Hank U's another one that gets requested a lot. We play Hank U almost every. I play Hank U almost every show. So yeah, I mean, I love every song on that whole album, man. I really do. It's hard to pick a favorite.
What a gift it is to hear from the mouth of the songwriter, what the songs are about. And I'm sure you do some of that in your live shows. Say, this song is about this. And what a gift to hear it right from your mouth,
Yeah.
what you wrote the song about, instead of people speculating what it means, and you're telling us. And that's so neat.
Thanks, man. Well, I think there may be some people in the world that wouldn't want me to talk about the fact that I don't have a college degree. There's a stigma. I understand. But I'm gonna live and die on the hill of being who I am. I could have gone to college. I think I could have graduated college and been fine, but I knew that music was what I wanted to do, and so that's what I did. And I love telling the story about it because I always get a chuckle out of it. And you'd be surprised how many people come up and say, "You made the right choice. It's good. You didn't." So I love it. And Truck Around came by happenstance. I mean, Truck Around, we were literally just trucking around. My buddy, I wrote the Truck Around with the same guys that I wrote She Misses Being Missed with, Aaron Loy and Jim Hawkins.
Right.
And I had the hook, "Don't turn this truck around," or "Don't make me turn this truck around," which is a good thing we didn't write that one because that song came out a couple months later. It was a big.
Oh, geez, yeah.
I don't remember the name of the guy. I think it was. Well, I don't want to say it wrong, but there was a big hit single called "Don't Make Me Turn This Truck Around." So I'm
Right.
glad we didn't do that. But we were talking about truck around, truck around, truck around, and he said truck around and find out. And I was like, man, that's poetry right there. So we wrote Truck Around in about an hour. It was one of those ones that wrote itself. I came up with that. I came up with that lick right
That's
there, and
awesome.
we wrote the song in an hour, man. So I'm a good melody guy. If you give me a good hook, I'll put a good melody on it. So
That's awesome. That's
thank you,
awesome.
sir.
I want to mention your big single that's out right now, Slide.
Sure.
It's a cover of a Gary Allan song. There's so many songwriters out there, so many prolific people, and people who cover songs that other people write,
Sure.
and so on and so forth. And you found this song here, Slide. It was recorded by him in 2021, so it's
It
still a
was.
fresh song in country music.
Yes, sir.
And you gave it your slant, and I love the slant. Tell us a little bit about the song.
So it was written by Ross Ellis and Alex Klein and Michael Whitworth. I always like to make sure I give those songwriters some credit. The song was, like you said, on a Gary Allan's last album, and he never singled it. He never put it out as a single. And so the guy that produced this record, Brandon Hood, came to me and said, "Man, there's some great songs on this record. I think you should check it out and see if you like it." And I loved Slide immediately. So we went there and cut it, and I didn't really fall in love with the song until I started playing it out live. And when I started playing it out live, I was like, man, people really dig this song, man. Because that's the older I get, that's a good metric to know if you got a good song or not. If
Yeah,
you play it out live and people are like, you know what I mean? It's like maybe go back to the drawing board, but that song gets a great response every time I play it out. So the record is something I'm very proud of. It was my first cover. I was a little worried about that because I am known as a songwriter. But I came to Nashville with the goal that I wanted to have hit songs. I don't really care who writes them. I don't. I If it was good enough for George Strait and Waylon Jennings and Conway Twitty and Blake Shelton, it's good enough for me. You know what I mean? So
right.
I think that's the beauty of Nashville, and I think Nashville lost that for about a decade, where feeling like you had to be a writer on everything. The artist had to be a
Right.
writer on everything, and I understand why. It's a business decision. I totally understand the logistics of why they did it, but I think country music loses something when you don't give those people who don't necessarily have the musical ability to bring the song to life on stage with their voice or their guitar or their piano or whatever. That symbiosis between songwriter and artist is what Nashville was built on. There would be no Dean Dillon without George Strait, and there would be no George Strait without Dean Dillon. They
Right.
worked as a team perfectly together. And Bob DiPiero, I mean, all of them. Even Phil Billy, the guy producing me now, he is such a good songwriter. Such a lyrical poet. So I think that when I leaned into that, saying, "Hey, man, recording a cover songs, I already play them for a living, so why not, record one that you really like?" So I'm glad, and it's tough when you pick a cover because you don't want to pick a cover that's too famous. You know what I mean? You
Right.
don't want to like I don't want to come out with a version of Amarillo by Morning or Ain't Going Down If the Sun Comes Up because it would be it would get overlooked by the original because the originals were so great. So, but a lot of people don't know that Amarillo by Morning is a cover. Did you know that?
I didn't. I did
Amarillo
not.
by George Strait's version of Amarillo by Morning is not the first version. It was a
Wow.
it was a it was a cover of a song, like a folk song, from the 60s or 70s. And then
Wow. I
George
didn't
Strait,
know
and then
that.
George Strait, and then George Strait got a hold of it, and it's definitely a
He gets
George
a hold of
Strait
a lot of
song.
songs, doesn't
Yeah,
he? I
it's
gotta
definitely
I gotta take a 5 second moment here about with
yeah,
George Strait and also your current producer here, Phil O'Donnell, and
yes, sir.
say, okay, so here you are working with someone who's written for George, right? I'm gonna hold this up here. Hopefully it shows it okay here. 50 number ones, okay?
There,
It's not showing very well. Let me back it up here like this.
there
Okay,
it is,
so
right there,
here we
buddy.
go. 50. So, and you say, well, Phil's not on this one, right? But you know why? Because he wrote George's 60th number one,
Yeah, he
his
did. He
60th one.
he wrote "Give It
Think
All We
about that.
Got
A complete
Tonight."
album with 50 number
Yeah,
ones.
yeah. He wrote "Give It
60.
All We Got Tonight," man. And I mean,
Right.
Phil Billy, like I said, Phil Billy is just on top of being a supremely talented individual, which he is very much so. He is equally as kind of a human being and as nice as a human being.
That's awesome to
He's become
hear.
a mentor. He's become a mentor and somebody I very much look up to. He's the kind of people that you need when you get to that when you get to Nashville. When you get to Nashville, you need to find people like that. And I feel like I have, my manager, Jerry, Phil, everybody that has come on board with what I'm doing within the past year have really it's things have really started to pick up momentum. And it's almost like sitting on a powder keg at this moment. You know what I mean? It's
It's
an interesting feel.
yeah.
It's an interesting feeling. I feel like I'm sitting on a rocket that could take off at any time. And it's a good feeling. And I hope it's God's will, whatever's going to happen. But I do hope it happens because I've worked hard. My team has worked hard. We've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into what we're doing. So hopefully it catches on, and you and I can hang out at the Grand Ole Opry one day.
That'd be amazing. I'd be there. I would be there. You do that, I'll
Yes,
be
sir.
there. I promise. I
Yes, sir.
promise.
All right. Thank
That's
you,
a
Kevin.
promise made today, July 8th, 2026. This promise is made.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it, brother.
I know you have a very, very tight schedule, so I'm going to do a quick speed round of questions here. They're going to be like one word answers here. I'm just
Let's
going to,
go. Yes,
I
sir.
put
I'm ready.
these
I
together, it's like
love
five of
these.
them.
I love these.
Um, all right. So, knowing that one of your guilty pleasures is prog rock, who is your favorite prog rock band? One word
Oh,
answer.
nice. Nice. Okay. Queensryche.
Okay, awesome. I love them. Love them.
Yeah.
Love them.
Because I love heavy metal too. So they
Yeah,
blended heavy metal and prog rock
they
together.
do. They're
That's
right,
why I
right
picked
on the
them.
both categories for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What is one of your favorite songs to cover in your shows, or when you're just sitting down home with a guitar in your hand? Just you're in a studio, you're at home. What's one of your favorite songs to cover?
I love doing Deeper Than the Holler. If I cut another cover eventually, I'm going to do a version of Randy Travis's Deeper Than the Holler.
Love
And
it.
his
Love
is
it.
his is an F, I believe F or E. I'm going to put mine in G. It's going to be more
You're
geared
gonna take it up a little bit,
towards
huh?
my
All right.
voice. Yes, sir. It's
All
going to
right,
be
take it up
more
a step.
me.
Cool.
But
Cool.
I have kind of my own version already worked up. It would be easy to go cut it live. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, great question, man.
What's one thing that fans don't know about you that they might be surprised by when it comes to your point of reference in music?
You mean like my perspective about writing songs or just something random people
Just
don't
like
know about
yeah,
me?
something about your music. Someone that you like, listen to that like the Queensryche's kind of a surprise maybe for some people, right?
Yeah.
Some other
Yeah.
surprise like that.
Well, I would say a lot of people seem to be surprised when I tell them I'm a secret metalhead. If I
Yeah.
wasn't a country, if I wasn't a country singer, I would be like a drummer in a metal band or a singer in a metal band or a bass player in a metal band. Like I love heavy metal and particularly thrash and classic metal. I love Metallica, of course,
Mhm.
Megadeth, and I like Slipknot. I like every kind of heavy metal. I love Ozzy and Dio. I would say Ozzy's probably my favorite of the older metal guys. A little bit of Judas Priest, that sort of thing. I like heavy metal a lot. People seem to be really surprised when I talk about
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. Yeah. But I do,
Well,
man.
there's
I
so
mean,
much music out
I
there.
wouldn't even put it past myself if I do ever reach the pinnacle of being a country artist. I might even experiment and make a metal album just for
Why
fun.
not? Why
Why
not?
not? Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
I
there's a
think it
lot
would
of
be
people who have
fun.
done some interesting things with different genres that's completely shocked the world of
Yeah.
music, and they were successful with it.
Yeah, I
So
don't
why
think a lot
not?
of people know. I don't think a lot of people know that Cody Jinks was in a heavy metal band before he became a country artist.
I didn't know that. No, see?
Yeah, Cody Jinks is a metalhead too.
What's your favorite? Who's your favorite guitarist outside the genre of country music? And then give us one inside the
Man,
genre
that's
too.
a great question. My favorite guitarist is Eddie Van Halen.
Okay.
All day long, Eddie Van Halen. And there's a reason why. My dad exposed me to Van Halen at a very young age. I was probably uh, 13 or 14 years old when he played 1984 for me. And from the
Wow.
beginning
Yes.
of that record just grabs you. And I remember being this little kid and just being like, this is awesome. And my dad had this Mustang. He sold it a long time ago, but my dad had this ragtop Mustang that he bought before my baby sister was born. They were going to, be grandparents and have fun and but he
Yeah.
had this Mustang. We used to cruise around in it listening to Van Halen. And that was some of the best memories I can remember is my dad's blue Mustang with the ragtop down, driving around, just blaring like Bon Jovi and Motley Crue. My dad's a big Motley. See, my dad likes the hair metal because that was his heyday.
Right.
So Bon Jovi, like Motley Crue, Metallica, even though they're not hair metal, but they were out during that time period. So Van Halen, Rat, Poison, all those bands my
I
dad
grew up with all
loves,
that
which
too. I
which
did. I
I
grew up
love
with all
too. I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
I love Rat. That's part of the reason why I like Queensryche too, because Queensryche fit into that mold of being hair metal, but they were very proggy too. They had a lot of prog stuff too. So
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
man. Yeah, heck
So
yeah, good question.
love it, love it. Well, hey, I know you've got appointments stacked up to here today, so I just want to, remind people of the single slide.
So,
How exciting, and it's one of those words that, when you hear them sing it, slides. It's one
yes,
of those, I
sir.
can't think of the name of the word when you take a word and it's got the meaning of the word in it.
I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about. I will look it up and I will text it to you because
Yeah, that'd
I
be
know what you're
awesome.
talking about.
Yeah, so I mean, please listen to that, everyone, and know that again, he picked a song. Trey picked a song that was not made into a single, and now he'll make it into a single.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
it's
sir.
exciting.
This is a
So
song. This is a song for all you fellas out there that sometimes we disappoint our women and they get real upset with us. But we got amazing women in our lives that always let us slide a little bit. Always let us give us a little grace. That's what the song's about.
love it, love it.
Yes, sir.
Well, Trey, I thank you so much for your time. I hope that we can talk again soon.
That's right.
Maybe we do a track by track on the EP or something. We
I
talk
would
about each track, something
love
like
that.
that.
I would love that. You get in touch with us. I am 100% down.
I can't wait to do
And
it.
we'll do it on a day. We'll do it on a day when I have more time and we can really be thorough and go through it.
Fantastic.
All
Well,
right,
thank you
Kevin.
so much, and all the best to you with this new single and all the things in store for the summer and coming up an EP end of the year or next year.
Thank you, sir. All right. God bless you, Kevin.
You too. Take care.
See you, buddy. Bye bye.
Bye bye.